Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're well. Good that you are here. Today we are talking all about evening yoga tips. I'm going to share with you my 3 essential yoga tips for doing yoga in the evening. My name is Nina Sachs. I'm a yoga teacher and health coach, and I'm here to share some insights and learnings that I've gathered over the last 20 years of teaching yoga. So let's get into them. What are my top 3 tips for you with regards to doing yoga in the evenings? Number 1, I think is really essential just to really set the scene. Because after a hectic day, if you've had a hectic day like me by any chance, rushing around, you actually just want to set the scene. So that's why it's so nice if you actually have like a quiet place that's dedicated to yoga. If not, maybe just set the scene with some soft music, maybe dim the lights a little. For example, we can move into that mode where things are a little bit different, a little warmer. Light a nice candle, maybe if you do like incense, that can be something. Just really set the scene, set the space, because when things are really hectic after a busy day, often all we want to do is collapse on a couch. And instead of doing that, we actually need to have a space that is actually inviting us, that is drawing us in. So before you go out, if you know you're going to have a busy day, or if you know you want to do an evening practice, get the space ready before you step out of your house. So lay the mat down, have a nice blanket nearby, have your pillows stacked up, have the candles there. And when you do that, it's so inviting. The energy is drawing you there automatically. Instead of like coming home and then having to find your yoga mat and find the pillow and your blocks and have it all there. So it's just very easy to get to. Have your clothes laid out already that you want to do your yoga practice in. So that's my tip number 1 in the evenings. It's actually just setting the scene before you leave home. And that might seem kind of like a little counterintuitive because you're going like, Nina, I want to know the postures and what we need to be doing. But if you actually don't get onto your mat, you're not going to be doing any postures, any movements anyway. So that is, for me, is my first practical tip, is actually start to set the scene. The second one is that when it comes to your yoga and your practice, you actually want to do something that is gentle, slow, nice and grounding, and very, very restorative. We all are overscheduled. We all run hectic lives. Most of us. For those of you who don't, and you're very chilled and you have a very chilled life, then you can have a little bit more of an active practice. But if you have been bombarded and overwhelmed and there has just been too much going on, make sure your practice is gentle and slow and nurturing and nourishing. So you want to do postures like legs up the wall, where you're reversing the flow of energy, especially if you've been running around and standing or driving in a car and all that energy has been sitting in the hips and the pelvis. You actually want to just have the legs up the wall and allow the energy and the blood flow and the lymph to just drain down. So that is number 1. And then any kind of like postures lying on the back were great. So something like your bridge are fantastic. Doing lying side twists are great. Anything lying on the mat is going to be super, super grounding. We call it the hand through the hole, or the 4, where you're lying with your kind of your leg in a 4 position. And that really opens up nicely into the hips and into the glutes. Postures like that can be so beneficial to do in the evening. So we don't have to do a strong vinyasa practice where you're jumping back and forth and here and there and doing salute to the suns. You actually want to see maybe it's a bit more nurturing and nourishing to rest and allow the activities of the day to be digested. So take that into consideration. So that's my tip number 2. Tip number 1 is set the scene. Tip number 2 is listen to your body, and if it needs restorative and it needs gentle and grounding, give your body those type of postures. And there are plenty of videos in my YouTube channel here. Just put in evening routine or evening wind down or Vata balancing. Those sessions, those classes can be really, really helpful. So have a look. There are plenty. And even if you don't do the whole 50, most of my classes on here are 50 minutes classes. So even if you don't do the full 50 minutes, just do 10 or 15 minutes. They're all gentle yoga. And they all build up towards a main pose and then gently kind of like wind down. That's how you want to do your yoga. You want to build up to a main pose and then cool down towards the end. And so even if you just do the first 10 or 15 minutes, just do them. You don't have to do the whole class. It's okay if you don't have the 15 minutes, but just get on your mat, pop a video on, and go for as long as you want to. All right, so that was my tip number 2, a little bit extended. And my tip number 3 is please take a little bit of time at the end to do a breathing practice. Anything with a nice, slow, long exhalation, where your exhalation is longer than your inhalation, can be really helpful. So even if you do something like Nadi Shodhana, the alternate nostril breath, just feel that you may be able to breathe in for 4 and move towards breathing out for 8. Or you can do in just normally in through the nose, your Ujjayi breath, and out for 8. Moving towards maybe a rhythm like that, where you're really extending the exhalation. And then end with a little bit of a meditation or a yoga nidra. Never just complete your yoga asanas, your postures, and then jump up and go. Do a little bit of breath work. Focus the energy inwards. Take time, even if it's just 2 minutes, ideally 5 to 8, to do a yoga nidra or a meditation, and then continue with the rest of the evening. And what you'll find is that as you go through this process regularly in the evenings, it's going to already prepare you better for a restful night's sleep. My next additional tip, bonus tip that I'm going to give you is try not after your yoga practice to then go sit on the couch and watch TV. If you need to do something, rather read an inspiring book, or just you'll probably find that the natural fatigue has kicked in, even if it is early, even if it is 7:30, 8:00. If you feel that first yawning coming, your body is telling you, I'm exhausted, I need rest. Don't worry about what the time is. Listen to your body, listen to what it's needing. And if it's dark out there, your body is saying, I'm ready. I'm ready to go in and I'm ready to be quiet. And then go and do that. Then go to bed and rest. And notice how you feel in the morning. Do that regularly for a week and see how you feel. Allow your natural circadian rhythm to kick back in and to help start rejuvenate and energize you. You're not going to notice a change and a shift immediately after doing it once. Yoga is a practice, a regular practice, and you've got to get into the habit of doing these practices every single day to help build up that resilience. I'll see you tomorrow for another tip. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments and I'll definitely address them in the future video. Take care. Bye.